All right, so jumping right into Forex versus futures. This is just a Forex and futures recap real quick. So I'm sure all of you guys know Forex is a global market where currencies are traded against each other. It is the largest and most liquid financial market in the world, right? You can also trade cryptos, indices, right? Commodities, all that good stuff in the Forex market. In the futures market, it is a financial market where traders buy and sell contracts to buy or sell a certain asset. Same thing, you can trade commodities, stock indices. You can trade like crops, like you could trade soybeans, like you could trade all types of stuff in futures market. You can even trade like the currency. So you could trade just the euro. You could trade gold. So pretty similar with both of them. You're buying or selling, right, based on the market structure essentially. All right. So what I really want to talk about is trading indices in the Forex versus futures market. Why? Because that is the topic of discussion. The main reason I started trading futures more is because I only trade indices. So if you trade currencies, obviously there's nothing wrong with trading in the Forex market. It's completely regulated to trade currencies in the Forex market. Another thing I need to say is what I'm about to say applies to US citizens. So I know if you're in like Canada or maybe Africa, I believe trading indices in the Forex market is legal for you guys. So just keep in mind, the reason I switched is because I'm trading in the US, okay? All right, so in Forex, trading indices in the Forex market refers to trading contracts for difference based on the price movements of stock market indexes. What this does, it allows traders to speculate on the price movements of indices without actually owning the asset. All right. So CDFs are illegal in the US because they're an over-the-counter product and they're not passing through regulated exchanges, right? So think of it like it's basically a third party, right? It's a third party way to trade indices. All right. Now, in the futures market, trading indices in the futures market involves buying and selling standardized contracts. Futures markets are regulated with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is the main US regulatory body for futures. Okay. So I know if that sounded confusing to you, just to break it down really quickly, you notice how a lot of these Forex prop firms are not allowing US citizens to trade anymore, right? Well, it's because they're pretty much the government, I guess you can say, is becoming more strict on regulations, right? And all these prop firms were using brokers that allowed you to trade indices in the Forex market as a US citizen, for example. Okay, well, since trading CDFs is illegal in the US and the only way to trade CDFs in the Forex market is through an unregulated broker, that automatically lets us know that the prop firms and even some of the brokers were unregulated because we were in the US trading CDFs on MT4 and MT5, right? So because they're cracking down on these laws, MT4 and MT5 are like, y'all gotta go. We don't want our platform to be completely shut down. So what they're doing is if you're not regulated, you cannot be on there. Okay. Now that doesn't mean every Forex broker is unregulated. There are many Forex regulated brokers for US citizens, but they won't allow you to trade indices. So if you trade indices, obviously you need to adjust to what's happening unless you're just going to trade currencies, okay? All right. So some reasons I actually switched from Forex to futures. One, like I said, I only trade indices. And in the Forex market, trading indices can only be done through CDFs, which is illegal in the US, meaning my profits will always be at risk in the Forex market if I'm trading a broker that allows indices. So yes, there's some brokers that in the Forex market that have switched platforms, right, to allow us to trade indices. That doesn't change the fact that it's still illegal in the US. That doesn't change the fact that there's a risk because what if they catch on to that one? What if they catch on to that platform? Now you have to adjust again. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to a market where it's actually regulated. And that's when I discovered the futures market, right? So in the futures market, every broker is regulated and allows me to trade indices, okay? In Forex, if I have a regulated broker, it won't have indices. Now, this applies to US traders. Other countries are different, okay? I need you guys to know that other countries are different. I have students in my day trading community that still trade Forex because they're in a different country. Okay. The cool thing is, if you trade NAS 100 like I do, you can trade it in the Forex or the futures market, right? So, like in my community, even though I'm taking my trades in the futures market, my Forex traders can also trade it in their Forex market because NAS 100 is the same across the board. So it's a super easy transition. All right. Another thing that made me switch is like I could withdraw and deposit straight from my bank account instead of having to go through Bitcoin. So it's super convenient and it's a super smooth process. Another thing, once again, this applies to US traders only. Tax can be considered capital gain, which means you are subject to lower tax rates versus Forex, which is taxed like regular income tax. Okay, or income tax rates. Okay. So those are just a few reasons why I switched. Tax questions, I would advise you to get a financial advisor like I do. I have an amazing one. He's our family financial advisor. So I would advise you to get one of those if you don't like math or anything tax related like me. All right. So now I'm going to open the floor up to some questions. You guys want to drop some questions before I get into what my strategy consists of? I would love to answer some questions for you if you have them about the Forex or the futures market. If you have no questions, go ahead and just drop a 2 in the chat so I know I can move on. What broker are you using? All right, hold on. Let me find where the question came. All right, what broker am I using? So in the futures market, there's a broker called Tradevate. So that's one of the brokers that I use. The cool thing about futures, oops, and I accidentally missed, literally, it's so funny because I said questions often asked and you asked that one. All right. So the broker that I'm using is Tradevate, which allows you to connect to TradingView. And I at least recommend at least $1,000 to start a regular live account. All right. Now, futures does have prop firms. Each prop firm for futures is one phase, and you pay a monthly fee until you pass. And the cool thing is, all the futures prop firms use Tradevate as well. So basically, like if I buy a challenge, I make sure I buy the challenge, and it says like it connects to Tradevate. Because if a prop firm connects to Tradevate, I know that I can connect that to TradingView. So I don't take my trades on Tradevate, I take them on TradingView. Super convenient. That's where I enter my trades. Do you use any prop firms? Yes, I use Take Profit Trader. I use Apex, and I use My Funded Forex. What account size do you recommend to trade Nikki? Honestly, 100K and up. All right, 100K and up. All right. What do you recommend, trading your own money or doing a prop firm challenge? I would say it depends on your here, I'll type them out. So these are all the prop firms. Take Profit Trader, Apex. Sorry, there's a dog at the door if you hear that. Apex and My Funded Futures. I haven't gotten this one yet, but my students like this one. Oops, it's not Top Step. It's just Top Step Trader. All right. Let's see. For US customers, should we be still confident in sway markets? If you want me to be honest, it's unregulated. So no, I personally wouldn't. The only reason they made a new platform is because MT4 and MT5 kicked them off because they're unregulated for US clients. So for me, I personally wouldn't. But if you want to build a small account, you could still use sway markets, but I wouldn't put like my bread and butter in sway markets, right? I'll put $50, $100 in sway markets and, build it up, but I'm not going to go put a bunch of money in sway markets, right? If you start with $1,000, how much should you risk on each trade? So that really just depends on like what you're willing to lose, right? Each day, right? So you have to ask yourself, if you start with $1,000, what are you comfortable with losing, right? Can you talk about the different fees associated with trading futures? Yeah, so on Tradevate, some of the fees are, so like if you're only doing a personal futures account on Tradevate, there's a few things. They give you a free trial, but then you have to pay like a monthly of like $12 for the data. It just depends on what am I trying what plan you get. So you have to pay $12 for the data. You have to pay $10 a month to connect your account to TradingView. All right. But if you do a prop firm, now mind you, prop firms are the cheapest way to trade futures. Prop firms, you don't have to pay for the data until you pass a challenge. You pay like a one-time fee for the data for a year. And then they let you use TradingView for free. So if you want to do the cheapest way to trade futures is with a prop firm. I've never used a prop firm before. Do you pay the prop firm if you lose the trades? How does that work? Not familiar with them. Nope, you don't pay a prop firm if you lose the trades. What you do is you go to a prop firm's website and yeah, it's okay. I mentioned the prop firms, but I'll put them again. So what you do, you go to a prop firm's website and you pay monthly until you pass the challenge. Once you pass the challenge, you no longer have to pay monthly. And let's say you pass the challenge, but then you lose the live account. You don't pay those fees back, you just lose the account. Okay. Sorry for this question. Which of the prop firms have you tried and liked the best? So like I said, I've tried Take Profit. I have Take Profit. I have Apex, and then I'm doing my funded futures. Right. So it's kind of hard to say which one I like the best because they're all unique in their own individual way. So for Apex, I like that I can have up to 20 accounts. For Take Profit Trader, I like the payout system a little bit better. For my funded futures, I like the way the platform looks when I'm reviewing my trades. So they're all good. Apex, the withdrawal rules are a little bit strict, but other than that, they're all good, you know. Apex is always the cheapest prop firm. So if you don't have a lot of money, but you want to get started, Apex is always a good one to go with because they always have like 80% off. Which session is best for Nikki and why do you trade it? I like Asian session around 7 p.m. CST, and I trade it because it's easy to read. All right. I trade it because it's easy to read for me. With my order blocks, it respects higher time frame order blocks like the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Do you suggest, oops, sorry. Where did that question go? Hold on, let me make sure, like, would you recommend trading your own money or doing a prop firm? So I would, it really depends on your situation. All right. So if you can do your own money, then do it. But honestly, a prop firm is a great way to leverage other people's money. All right. Let me make sure. Okay. Do you suggest trading NAS mini or micro on a Top Step 50K? Definitely a micro. Definitely a micro. Personally, what I do is I will only put, so my stop loss is always 50 points, and we'll go over that in a minute. On a 50K account, I'll typically only put 3 to 4 micro contracts because if I have 3 contracts with a micro, I know with the 50 point stop loss, I know I can possibly lose $300. I'm okay with that on that account. I notice how Nikki is very volatile and placing a stop loss is difficult. So great question. And I don't go by points. What I do is typically I find my stop loss to be at 100 points, but I go about the Nikki stop loss on how much I'm willing to lose because it is so volatile and it moves so big, right? 25 points, right? So I basically go off how much I'm willing to lose. So on a bigger account, maybe it's 5 to 600, which gives me some breathing room. But if you're only doing a 50K account, you really only want to lose no more than $400, possibly even 300, which doesn't give you much breathing room. So if you're on a 50K account, I would wait till you are up on the account in profit before you start trading it. All right, great questions, you guys. We are going to get into the other aspect. But you guys are asking great questions. So I pretty much want to go over now what my strategy consists of, okay? That's the next thing we're going to go over. Do you do you use 7 p.m. to CST all Monday, Fridays with your group too? Nope. So I don't do Mondays, have church on Mondays. Don't do Fridays because the market is closed. So I have Niki calls with my group, typically on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But even if I'm not on a call with them trading it, I call it in our community chat. I trade options as futures similar. I've heard futures is similar, but I don't dive into options, but I've heard it's similar. How often do Apex have promos a month? I mean, I don't really know. I just know that they always have them, right? I wouldn't know how much they have a month. Can we still join your community? Yes. And we will get into the community. After I do this, I will show you guys an inside look at the community and my trading course. I do New York live sessions Monday through Friday, every single day at 8:15 a.m. How much is your private mentorship? It is $500 and it is currently closed right now because it is 7 weeks for the first group of 9 people. Once I am done with this group, then I will open it up for another group. I like to keep it very small. All right. And another private mentorship group won't happen for a while because after I'm done with this group, I'll be traveling. I have your course and I'm loving it. Nice. I love to hear that. All right, you guys, great questions. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into what confluences. So this is from a PDF I did with my trading community. It's understanding the confluences used to simplify trading indices, but you can use it for commodities, whatever you trade, okay? So the confluences that I use in my strategy are order blocks, breaker blocks, sell and buy stop liquidity, imbalance, imbalance boxes, and failed swing lines. All right. So I'm really just going to go over with you guys the basics of each one. So you guys can kind of get a grasp of what I do. All right. So what are order blocks? All right. Order blocks are entry triggers in the market. We use them for entries in the market, right? There are 2 different types of order blocks. You have the bearish order block, which is the last up candle before bearish momentum. Then you have the bullish order block, which is the last down candle before bullish momentum. All right. So let me show you what that looks like. So this type of order block is identified, look, as the last up candle. You see that? Before bearish momentum. You want to have patience and wait for price to trade back into that area for sells. All right. The way you draw your box is around the last up candle before the bearish momentum. Okay. So that is a bearish order block. I use these for sell triggers in the market. All right. And then the bullish order block is the complete opposite. It is the last down candle before bullish momentum. You wait for price to trade back into that bullish order block for buy entries in the market. Okay. Now I'm going to say if you're an aggressive trader, one bounce, one rejection, you start seeing price reject, you'll enter the trade. But if you're more of a conservative trader, you may want to take trades off the order block that at least give you one more bounce, right? So that depends on your personality, the type of trader you are, maybe the time of day. I personally am more aggressive during opening bell, which is 9:30 a.m. EST. Any other time after that, I typically like to see at least 2 bounces off the order block. All right. And then the next one, this is my least used type of order block, but it is a breaker block, all right? You can consider it as the 3rd type of order block, except this one is only valid or used when price disrespects a bullish order block or a bearish order block, all right? So when a bullish order block is disrespected, right, this is the last down candle before the up move, but as soon as price closed below it, right? You see it disrespected it, closed below it, it becomes a breaker block to look for sells off of instead. Same thing with a bearish order block. When it is disrespected and price closes above it, right? Last down candle or up candle before the down move, look at this. Price didn't reject off of it. It disrespected it, closed above it, and now we can look to see if price is going to reject off the top of it for buys. All right, so those are my 3 different types of order blocks that I use. Like I said, I use these for my entries. This is the bread and butter of my strategy because these are my entry triggers. All right. Let's put threes in the chat. That makes sense to everybody. Right. And like I said, this isn't like I just want to show you guys how I do things. Obviously I have more in-depth calls. I have a whole day trading course. I have a trading community with over 50 recorded calls. We do educational calls every week, so we go more into depth of everything. This is just giving you guys a quick rundown of what my strategy consists of and see if it's something that connects with you. All right. All right, so next we have sell stop liquidity. All right, so sell stop liquidity, and you'll hear it also called a sell side liquidity, right? Either one works. In the simplest term, it is when, oops, is there a question? Are you going to share the presentation? So possibly I'm either going to post it on YouTube or try to email it to you guys. It depends on which one is the easiest, but I am recording it. All right. All right, so sell stop liquidity in the simplest term is when sellers are struggling to break an area. Okay, this lets us know that liquidity resides below. Okay, so look at this. Sellers are struggling to break this area multiple times. It's never one price point, it's an area. It's important to remember sell stop liquidity is never one price point, but an area. It's also not about how low the price wicks. It's about the close. Price is struggling to close below the area, okay? It's okay if it wicks below. It's all about the close, all right? Price will be struggling to close below a certain area, and sell stop liquidity isn't taken until price closes below. So you see sellers are struggling to break the area multiple times. As soon as price closed below, liquidity was taken. And think of liquidity as just an area that price is drawn into, okay? So when we see sellers being stopped multiple times, we know the area below price will be drawn into. You always also want to keep an eye out for the order block below sell stops. Price may react here for a pullback or a reversal. Remember the last down candle before the up move, and price did react here. All right. So a sell stop liquidity tip is you can tell if price wants to reverse or keep the downtrend going by the way it reacts off the now previous sell stop area. So in this example, you'll notice how price struggled to break the previous SSL line and then it kept selling. That is a key indicator which will let us know if price is actually reversing off the order block below the sell stops or if it's just a simple retracement and it's going to keep selling. All right. The next one is buy stop liquidity. Pretty similar, right? Buy stop liquidity in the simplest term is when buyers are struggling to break an area. This lets us know that liquidity resides above. Sorry, error there. All right. It's important to remember buy stop liquidity is never one price point, but an area. So look at this. Buyers are struggling to break this area multiple times. I typically consider an area buy stop liquidity if it struggles to break it 3 or more times. Same thing goes for sell stop liquidity. It's also not about how high price wicks, right? Even though it wicked this high, it's initially struggling to break this area here. All right, so you'll see price struggling to close above a certain area, and buy stop liquidity is only taken once price closes above. So look at this. Always keep an eye out for the OB above buy stops. Price may react here for a pullback or a reversal. Look at this. Price completely took the buy stop liquidity and didn't even respect the bearish order block above it. That just lets us know price really is buying. And one way you can ride with buy stop liquidity is you can catch a buy below the BSL line and use liquidity as a confluence, right? So I'd be like, okay, I'm looking for price to take the liquidity above, and then I'm looking for a rejection off here. We're going to talk about failed swings in a minute. Price is also failing to swing lower. All right. So a buy stop and sell stop tip. You can use buy and sell stop liquidity as a confluence. Just like I said, when you're looking for BSL to be taken, this can be used as a buy confluence. When you're looking for SSL to be taken, this can be used as a sell confluence. So you're basically looking to ride with price as it takes the buy stop liquidity, or ride with price for sells as it takes the sell stop liquidity. All right. Another thing to note is higher time frame, like the 1 hour through the daily, BSL and SSL have stronger momentum, meaning when price reaches these areas, it may have a harder time taking the liquidity above or below. All right. Another one is entries off a previous BSL or SSL line is often only valid when it's around a breaker block as well, or you have a valid confirmation price wants to keep the trend going after closing above or below. All right. So that is sell and buy stop liquidity. All right. This is the third thing I use, which is imbalance. All right. Imbalance represents a strong impulsive move to the upside or the downside of the market that creates a gap in the market. So bullish imbalance is a strong impulsive move to the upside of the market with little to no sellers involved. The only way bullish imbalance can be filled is with sellers. Look at that. Same thing with bearish imbalance. It's a strong impulsive move to the downside of the market. The only way it can be filled is with buyers. All right. So pretty simple. I like to keep things as simple as possible. All right. So some things to know about imbalance. Imbalance and fair value gap can basically the same thing. So if you see me put FVG on my chart, that's why. Price won't always fill imbalance right away. Only 75% of imbalance is filled. And I read that in an investing book. It's called The Successful Investors. And then imbalance is sometimes filled by creating more imbalance. When there is bullish imbalance, this can be a confluence for sells, as we would look for sells to fill the imbalance. When there is bearish imbalance, this can be a confluence for buys, as we would look for buys to fill the imbalance. I used to think imbalance and inducement. Yeah, I've never used inducement, so I can't speak on it. Can you swing your strategy? You can. You just want to, that means you just want to stay on the higher time frames. So if you're trying to swing the strategy, an intraday trader, you know, we can have a 4-hour order block marked up and get an entry on the 30-minute. When you're a swing trader, you want to only use 4-hour or daily order blocks and pretty much enter them on those time frames. Right. So if you're a swing trader, you do the same strategy. You just only stay on higher time frames, as to where intraday we scale down. And we'll get into that as well. All right. So here's an example of bearish imbalance, right? So we've got the bearish imbalance, right? Strong impulsive move to the downside of the market. This is where price currently is right now. So above price, we have bearish imbalance. We have buyers being stopped multiple times in an area. This is the last down candle before the up move. I would get buy entries here. Why? 1, there's buy stop liquidity above. 2, there's imbalance to fill. 3, price is rejecting off my order block for entry. And look at that, price completely shot up. Now, when it shot up, I want to mark that order block above BSL. Price tapped the order block above BSL, kept failing to swing higher, push down, right? So again, as you train your eye, things like this will be easier to see, but this is just an example of pretty much how I read the markets. All right. Same thing with bullish imbalance. Let's see, question. Is it hard to trade when the indices have reached an all-time high? I wouldn't say it's hard to trade. You just have to be more cautious, but you still stick to the same confluences, but you also want to keep in mind that price is in an overall uptrend. So the first thing I'm going to look for is those buys, right? All right. But okay, so we've got a strong impulsive move. Look at this. There's like no sellers involved in this candle. That is imbalance. We also have sell stop liquidity below. Sellers are being stopped multiple times in this area, letting us know price is going to be drawn into the area below. All right. So look at that. Eventually, price came, pushed down, and sold. So you can ride with price as it sells. You could have rode with price here at this order block there, or even here, right? As soon as price closed below, the liquidity was taken and it rode down to the order block below it. How do you draw IMB correctly? I honestly don't really draw imbalance. You're talking about just imbalance. I really only draw it when I'm teaching, but if I'm trading the regular market, I don't need to draw it because I could just see it. Right? So I'll just draw a box around the imbalanced area if I really need to see it. But I'm to the point where I like to keep my chart as clean as possible. And when you have imbalance, it won't always look the same on every time frame. So the box would be a little messy, but I personally don't need to draw it anymore because I could see it with my eyes and I'll write it as a confluence. As you guys know, as most of you know, I write my confluences on my chart. So I'll typically just write it, but if you're looking to draw it, then you can just draw it. And if you have a question, you can ask. You don't have to raise your hand. But if you want to just draw it, you could just draw the box. What strategy do you use on Nas? I'm showing you. I don't use different strategies for different things. I'm showing you what strategy I use. This is what I use. Everything I'm showing you right now. Is Nasdaq called something else in the futures market? Nope, it's still Nas. It just has an abbreviation, which is MNQ and NQ. But it's still Nas. You got your micro E-mini and your E-mini. How do you react to price just pushing from the opening without going to your entry area? I don't get in. I just don't get in. I adjust, find another area to possibly enter on. I trade futures and I trade indices, which can be traded in the Forex or the futures market. In this example, why wouldn't you mark BSL? Like, how do you know which one to mark if there's both? If there's both, then you can mark both. If there's both, you mark both. I just didn't mark this here because I didn't want to confuse the example. But if there's both, you mark both. And there's going to be times there's BSL and SSL. That's when you have to go based off the more confluences that you have. So you need to start looking, is price in an overall uptrend or a downtrend? Is there imbalance above or below? Is there, we'll get into failed swing lines in a minute, but you'll ask yourself, is price failing to swing higher or lower? Overall, is price making higher highs or lower highs? There's questions you ask yourself that'll help you determine which liquidity line may be taken first if you see both is present. All right. You guys are asking good questions. All right. So in this one, as you can see, once liquidity was taken, it went down and sold to that order block below the sell stop line and eventually started to push up. All right. All right, so the next one, so this is rarely used. I don't teach it too much because I really don't like to confuse people. But it is something that I'll keep an eye out for. An imbalance box can be seen when price creates a two-candle imbalance. All right, so you can draw imbalance boxes from the wick of the candlestick, right? So you'll draw it like this. Let me show you. So in this example, there's right here. So the wick of the before the imbalance, right? The wick of the candlestick before the imbalance to the wick of the second imbalance if there is one, right? So I draw it from here to here. All right. Two strong impulsive moves to the upside of the market. You can see price came to the middle of that imbalance and pushed off. So sometimes if you see price not rejecting an order block, it could be because it's rejecting an imbalance box. All right. Same thing with this one. You want to get the candle before the imbalance. So this is the imbalance here, this strong move here. This candle is before the imbalance. There's no wick. You want to draw it to the second candle after the imbalance, if there is a wick. And look at that. Price rejected off that area and pushed down. Like I said, it could be a little confusing. I'm not going to go deep into it. But can you tell some of the confluences you use on Nas? I am showing you all the confluences I use on Nas right now. All right. I'm not sure if you just entered the call, but I've been going over them through this whole PDF. I'm not showing you guys something I don't use on a daily basis. How often do you trade the IMB box? Honestly, I don't even trade it every week. That's why I said I don't really, it's just something to, know about, but it's not something I'm going to stress on because I don't use it too often. All right. It's just something I've noticed in the market. All right. All right. And some things to remember. I typically only use imbalance boxes when I don't see any order blocks near current price or if price is rejecting an area with no OB. I will then look on each time frame for an imbalance box, okay? Another one is IMBs aren't something I use weekly. They're just something I like to be aware of, and you can find them on any time frame. Can we answer questions at the end? Let her present. All right, let's keep going. All right. There are two types. So the next one is the failed swing lines. Okay, this is the last one, guys. Thank you for being patient with me. All right, so there are two types of failed swing lines. All right, you'll have price failing to swing lower and failing to swing higher. All right, when price fails to swing higher, it lets us know price may want to sell. When price is failing to swing lower, it lets us know price may want to buy. So when price is failing to swing higher here, price is making lower highs and lower lows. So we got a high, lower low, lower high, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Price is failing to swing higher. This is the high. This high here failed to swing higher than this one. It's letting us know price wants to sell. Same thing with this one. When price is failing to swing lower, it's making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, it's letting us know price wants to buy. All right, this is another confluence that I use. So let's put it all together. Price failing to swing higher can be used as a sell confluence. So look at this here. This is the high. Price made a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Clearly, I'm in a downtrend. I see prices failing to swing higher. One confluence. All right. Let's say this didn't happen yet. I have sell stop liquidity here. Two confluences. The last confluence would be rejection here for entry. 3. I always want at least 3 confluences before I enter a trade. Typically, the order block rejection is my last entry or my last confluence. And in this case, price gave a scale in entry. It didn't respect the order block below sell stops. It closed above it, becoming a breaker, and it rejected twice off the now breaker block to keep the sells going. All right, so that's how you use failed swing lines. As you guys can see, all of this is coming together. All right, so when price is failing to swing lower, this can be used as a confluence to buy. All right, we've got buyers struggling to break this area here. Price is failing to swing lower. All right, this is the low. This low failed to swing lower than here. This one lower than here. This one's still lower than there. So that lets me know price may be wanting to buy. All right. I could have gotten an entry here, depending on when I come to the market, or I could have gotten an entry here. And look at that. Eventually, price went up to take the liquidity. So my confluences were 1, buy stop liquidity above. 2, prices failing to swing lower. 3, rejecting off my order block for entry. All right. So this is how I trade NAS 100 and Nikki. All right. All right. Do you trade on the 4-hour or swing? I day trade. And I start on the daily. All right. I start on the daily. I scale it down to the 4-hour, 1 hour. Then the 30 and the 15-minute I use for my entries. So if I see a 4-hour order block and I mark that up, that doesn't mean I'm entering the trade on the 4-hour and I'm swinging it. That just means that may be the most recent order block that's clean that I see. And I know price respects higher time frame order blocks a lot. So you always want to be aware of these higher time frames. All right. All right. So I'm going to do a quiz on you guys. All right. So how many confluences do you need to enter a trade? List at least three that would oops, yeah. List at least three that would cause you to enter a trade. All right, I want everybody to list confluences, three confluences that would cause you. Okay, somebody said liquidity, so it's always make sure you know what kind of liquidity it is. All right. Imbalance, OB, liquidity. Make sure you guys aren't just saying liquidity. It should be BSL above or SSL below. You shouldn't just say liquidity when you're identifying your confluences, okay? But yeah, you guys are right. So but other than that, you guys got it, right? So the answer is at least three. And then you could do buy stops above, failing to swing low or lower, rejection off the order block. All right, you guys got it. Great job. All right. Based on this chart, what confluences do you see? And you don't have to raise your hand. Just go ahead and type your question. All right. So I'm going to answer this for you guys. Sell stop liquidity. There is buy stop liquidity here as well. But guess what? There's sell stop liquidity. There's prices failing to swing higher, and there's imbalance to fill, and it's rejecting off an order block. So just because I have those buy stops doesn't mean much because I have more confluence to sell. All right. So you guys all missed, a lot of you guys missed the sell stop liquidity below. Some of you guys missed the fail to swing higher, but it's okay. We only did one call. We didn't go too into depth, but other than that, you guys did good. All right. The answer is sells though for this one. There's more confluence to sell. What time do you usually take trades? New York session around opening bell, which is around 9:30 a.m. All right. Next one, based on this chart, what confluences do you see? All right, I'll give you guys a moment to answer that. Yes, 9:30 a.m. EST, and this PDF is only available to those in my trading community. What can you say about break and retest? I have nothing to say because that's honestly not really how I trade. Everything that I just showed you is how I trade. And you don't have to keep raising your hand. You can just ask the question. All right, but I don't trade. Everything that I just showed you is how I trade. There's nothing else that I add on. Buys, imbalance, okay. All right, all right. So the answer is there's BSL above, there's imbalance to fill, and prices rejecting off a bullish order block for entry. All right, so good job, you guys. Good job. So based on these confluences, are you looking to buy or sell? All right, yep, you guys got it. The answer is buys. Great. So this wasn't too in depth, but you guys did pretty good. Does anybody have any questions? Put fours in the chat if you don't have any questions. What are your top futures? I only trade Nas. I only trade Nas and Nikki. That's it. So I can't give you any top futures I like to trade. I have a very small watch list. Can you go over contract differences? So I did a call on that. And we're getting to that 1 hour mark, but I did a call on that and it's on YouTube. But the difference between micro and mini depends on the contractor trading. So micros are always smaller than minis. For NAS 100, the micro contract is $2 per point, and the mini is $20 per point. Is there a squeeze in fee for the private mentorship? No, there is not, because we are already weeks into the mentorship, unfortunately. Are fake rejections off an order block a usual occurrence? I mean, I wouldn't call them fake rejections. It's just price doesn't respect them. That's why you can't just enter a trade off of the order block. You have to have multiple confluences. No problem, guys. I'm glad you guys like this call. Do you pay attention to news as well? Yeah, I just pay attention to when there's high impact news or medium impact news. How do you react to NFP or CPI? I'm just more cautious. I don't change anything about my strategy. If there isn't if there isn't three minimum confluences, do you wait and do you scalp your trades? I wait and I don't scalp. I'm an intraday trader. Can you drop your link to the paid community and what days you meet? Yep, I will show you guys the community right now. Since a few of you guys are asking about it. Are points equal to pips? Yep, same thing. You could say 3 points, 3 pips. All right, so here's my trading community right here. All right, so we pretty much have our own website, and you can also get this as an app. It's actually an app you can have on your phone as well. So it's pretty cool. So if we have any special announcements, I announce them here. Everything's super organized. Anytime I call a trade on my community, I also put it in the signals area, for those that can't make the call. All right. Same thing for Nikki. Anytime I call a Nikki trade, if we don't have a call, or if you're not on the call, I will add it here. All right. I will put everything here. All right. I'll also tell you, when I take partials and move my stop loss to break even as well. All right. Let me load up the. For prop firms, do you recommend to finalize your strategy before trying to get funded? Yeah, you should have a strategy before you're trying to get funded. What are the contract sizes for Nikki? There's only one and it's $25 per point. What's your YouTube? It is Have Mercy Trades. I did a call that's called transitioning from Forex to futures. If you're looking for like more in-depth free content on futures. But I do have some of my trading community as well. I post the weekly and monthly results here, so all my community knows how we did for the week. Let me keep going. Is there a way to practice NAS 100 on the charts? Yeah, it's called back testing. You can back test NAS 100 on TradingView or FX Replay. All right, so this right here is the timeline. If any news comes or if anything occurs, I'll post it here. People will post their charts sometimes. I'll post news articles here. I also remind people when live sessions start, even though we have an events tab. All right. Let's see. I wonder, S&P 500 and NAS, they do move similar. But like I said, I recommend you find which one you like best and stick to it. All right, we also have a chat here. We've got our chat where we just literally chat with each other. That's right. Pretty self-explanatory. We've got a results section. So if you ever want to post your results, you can post them here. Right? You can see people are making money from Nikki. I also post when I take my losses, wins, right? Nice to see. These are some student results. All right, so yeah, people decide if they want to post their results or not. We've got prop firm success. So like this is the trading community. I'm just literally giving you guys an inside look at what it is. What prop firm do you recommend? I recommend you could do Apex, Take Profit Trader, Top Step, My Funded Futures. They're all really good. When first learning your strategy and applying it to your chart, do you check your chart to see if you were doing it correctly? Yeah, it's called you back test. You want to back test the strategy to make sure you're doing it correctly. All right. This is the prop firm success area. So anytime my students pass a funded challenge, they post them here. So you see we've got Top Step, some pass Apex, some another Top Step, Take Profit Traders. So people do different ones. They're all good. The next thing is events tab. So you will never have to question when a call is because we have an events tab. So like this week, tomorrow we have Money Monday. That's a live session. Weekly overview. Tuesday Pips, a live session. Then we also have a Nikki live session that night. We have Winning Wednesday, which is a live session. And we also have a Nikki live session that night. We've got Thursday morning live. And then we also have the using fib lines part 2. So I use fib lines for I just started using them for my take profit areas when price is at all-time highs. So I'll be going over that with my community. And then we also have the Friday morning live, which is also a live session, right? So honestly, a lot of people don't really RSVP to them. That's why I remind people on the timeline, because we always have at least around like 50 people on the call, but not a lot of people RSVP. But if you do want to get those notifications personally about it, then you would RSVP. If not, I also remind you on the timeline when the call's starting. We've got recorded content. So any call that we do in the community is recorded. All right, I don't know why it's taking forever to load, but this is a great area, right? So we have futures basics, psychology calls, our New Year's boot camp, educational webinars, right? You can see, look how many educational webinars we have in here, y'all. Like we have so many educational webinars that students can review. We've got all live sessions are recorded. These are all this is from this year alone. All right. And then we've got the Nikki ones, weekly overviews. So we do weekly overview calls every week to go over every trade we took together. Yeah, and then these are Nikki live sessions from last year. And then we also have PDF files. So every call, I have a PDF file. All the PDF files are here as well. So the community stacked with a lot. There's honestly a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And then these, I don't want to hold you guys up too long. This is the chart analysis is where you just post your charts. We have a book discussions area. So if you're reading a book or if I'm reading a book, I tell you guys before I order it so we can try to read it together and talk about it. If you're a believer, right, I have a faith-based area where I'll post Bible verses. And then you guys can chat with me at any time by sending me a message there. So that is the Have Mercy Trades trading community, right? Do you review the losses as well? Of course. How can you do a weekly overview without reviewing the losses? That is the number one thing in trading. What would you say you are most common reasons to look out for when coming to loss? Honestly, it's probably just entering too soon. And sometimes it's just, waiting for price to actually it's just entering too soon. Because even waiting for price, that's entering too soon. So I guess that would be the most common thing. And sometimes it's just a news day, should have waited, right? Sometimes that's the case. But yeah, you can't, if anybody's telling you they don't review the losses, that's a big red flag. How can I do it? Like, it's like a weekly overview. If we lost for the week, we have to review those losses, right? A lot of times if we lose for the day, I'll post the lesson that same day. All right. And the last thing I'm going to show you guys is my trading course. All right. So this is the course curriculum. You can actually go on the website and look at it. Okay. We've got introduction to futures and Forex, setting up TradingView, setting up demo and live accounts, market structure basics, a whole section on order blocks, a whole section on sell and buy stop liquidity, a whole section on imbalance, failed swing lines, plus the importance of time and price, putting it all together, like setting take profits, one-to-one method, a top-down analysis, profit maximization tips. And then we've got the risk management and psychology, right? Each one comes with, like, let's click this one, for example. Each one comes with a video, a PDF, and it also comes with a quiz. All right, let me pause it because I know it's gonna play. All right. All right, there we go. There's a PDF and a quiz. All right, so I have a special offer for everybody that is still on the call, okay? So if you are interested in my trading course, I am offering you guys $100 off until Tuesday. So this code is only going to be valid until Tuesday, okay? All right, the code is literally 100 off. That is the code. But if you are interested in getting $100 off of my day trading course, then you have access to do that until Tuesday. All right. Any other questions for me? No questions? Well, all right, you guys. Link for the course. The link for the course, I will post it. Let me see. Let me go to my live. It's literally gonna be right here. What if you already have the course? Then you're all set to go. This is for people that really don't have the course. It's so worth it, y'all. I have it and it's a great course. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, if you already have the course, then if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Bullish Order Blocks. Obviously, today we're
All right. All right. Does the course include live sessions? No, the course is just a step-by-step guide. The live sessions is in my trading community, which is $79 a month. Okay, that's already at such a discounted price for everything I offer in the trading community. So the trading community is $79.99 a month. Live sessions, recorded content, educational calls. The trading course is it's a step-by-step guide to my strategy with pre-recorded calls. All right. So I just sent the link there. You guys can use the coupon code. All right. But other than that, we are all done. But yeah, you guys have access to that code. Make sure you guys take advantage of it. I appreciate you guys for staying on the call with me for this long. All right. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will talk to you guys later.